The film that you're about to see contains graphic and violent content that some viewers may find triggering. I'd like to invite you to settle into a comfortable position and close your eyes. Take a full deep breath in, allowing air to fill your chest and your lungs, and letting it out through your mouth. Notice how your breath feels as you take another deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in, allowing your shoulders to fall when you exhale. As your body begins to feel a sense of calm, allow your breath to take on its own natural rhythm. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. We encourage you to take deep breaths throughout the screening.
I feel like I was young. First time I ever had to run.
I think I was 5 or 7.
I think I was walking home and heard some gunshots.
I don't think I knew it was gunshots. I just had to run.
Everybody starts running, so you run.
I was outside with my friends, and we heard it, and we knew to fall to the ground. My dad yelled for me to come inside, and I'm just like, what's happening?
I just stepped outside with my son.
And I said, is he okay? That was the first thing. Is he okay?
I'm there as a kid. I see the guy take a shot.
Like the first 5-10 shots I heard go off.
And they shot right through the door.
See the guy take another shot.
Like he literally almost jumped out of his stroller.
So that was the first person I seen die from a gunshot. 12 years old.
So yeah, that was my first time. And unfortunately, not my last.
This scene has become all too familiar. Kids were playing everywhere when the shots were fired. 2 people were killed and 20 others injured.
Simply out shopping with his mother when he was hit by a bullet.
He was gunned down right in front of his doorstep.
In 2018, we set a new record for shootings in Toronto.
We opened in November of 2017. Like any new business, it was fairly quiet. Fast forward now, as we progress into 2018, we noticed a sharp increase in gun violence. And 2019 stands out because almost every week there was a homicide, there was a shooting.
I've lost a lot of people to gun violence. Lost my brother, my cousin, could go on, but
this is not normal. But for a lot of communities, it is a normal experience.
This could happen to literally any one of us. Like, I could just be walking down the street and then just shoot me and leave me there to die.
Losing friends to gun violence, grief, I don't think I understood grief too much or how to grieve or that you should grieve, like it's a good thing.
It's unreal. Like I see this guy every day, I went to high school with him, and then boom, they're just gone. You almost don't even believe it until you see them in the casket.
It feels like your heart is racing like 5 times faster than it usually does, like 1,000,000 beats per minute. You're always panicked because you never know what can happen.
I remember going out for lunch and I saw one of my students and I honked and he ducked. I'm like, hey, miss, you can't do that. Oh my God, we're just trying to get your attention to say what's up. He's like, no, like, I don't even want to walk to school. Fear to walk around in his own community.
In certain ways, you're either gonna have that flight or fight response where you try to do things to, protect yourself and or, become just completely disengaged.
You don't want to do nothing, see anybody. It looks like sleeping 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, getting up, eating, going back to sleep. Depression, like you just wallow.
And you're concerned because you usually see these kids are very lively, they're talking all the time, and when you see them, just shelter themselves.
You'll never forget when you look into one of your friend's eyes and it's like, you don't even know who they are anymore. They're hurting so bad that they've lost themselves. I'm grieving people who are still alive.
I've known Liam since he was in grade 9. Grade 11, he was shy, a little bit timid. And then in grade 12, he was standing straight, vocal, advocating. And he said, miss, I found a mentor. Somebody introduced me to meditation. I said, meditation? He was like, yeah, meditation. It helps you clear your mind, helps you with your decisions. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so you like this? This works for you.
A significant amount of rounds were fired, which resulted in 6 people being struck by gunfire. Tragically, 17-year-old Jonathan Davis was struck by gunfire and fatally injured. Jonathan was not with the group and was an innocent victim who found himself caught in the middle of gunfire.
I didn't know Jonathan Davis personally, but a lot of my students did, and that affected them, which in turn affected me, and this is why I wanted to introduce the meditation.
I thought she lost it. I thought she was crazy.
So she's like, we're gonna all meditate together and I'm gonna turn off the lights and you guys are gonna close your eyes and breathe in and out. And so we would all laugh at each other.
At first, it's always jokes, and they're like, what are you talking about? But then when you start showing them like J. Cole.
Really, the only thing I consistently do is I do my breathing. I try to do a meditation.
NLE Choppa.
I was trying to find peace. I started meditating. I found myself again.
Director X and his TEDx talk.
People who meditate have great benefits.
And that's when change.
The feeling of meditation is like you're in your own small little bubble in your safe space and you feel like no one can hurt you.
I was more within myself. I feel like I learned to find who I wanted to be.
I had really bad anger issues before I met Liz Sloan. I couldn't stay still. I was always moving. So when she introduced me to meditation, it caught me more calm, more relaxed.
Meditation and mindfulness, that stuff helps. It helps a lot.
I'm not as defensive when you're uptight and stuff like that. I feel like it's very easy to get upset about things, or you're gonna be very quick-witted in terms of things you might be offended by. I know this is gonna sound cliche, but it was like weight lifted off your shoulders, like you're just light. My shoulders kind of always clenched and tight, so that was something I noticed immediately.
I was in Texas playing basketball. I started meditating near the beginning of my season, and that season, the way I was playing is what made me notice, because I was so focused. I was always in my flow because I felt like through meditation, my mind and my body came to the same accord.
Even the sky will be a different color for a second. It's like a high, like you're high off life, As soon as I open my eyes, I see things differently.
After the shooting, I said, what do you guys think if we can get Director X to come to our class? And they laughed. And I said, yeah, but this is your voice. If you don't do it, it's automatic no. So why don't we just take a shot? So they said, okay, fine, right? So we said, okay, we'll just make it as a project, write your letters, and then let's just see where this goes.
Dear Director X, my name is Jada Wallace. My community of Malton has a rough history. There has been violence in our community before I can even remember. However, your story gives us hope, an idea where meditation can help decrease gun violence, a solution to the plague that is taking over our community. I also appreciate the fact that you've inspired my teacher with Operation Prefrontal Cortex.
That feeling we got from your TEDx talk, she wants to spread it and share it with the rest of our community to truly induce change. But we believe with your platform, if you came to our school to speak, youth would be more open to meditation in their daily life.
As a New Year's, X usually does a New Year's Eve party. I just see the kind of place kind of move away. Like people are moving here and moving there, and then...
And it's a gunshot is louder. Your brain will go, is that a bottle? It's an explosion. It's a gun. And I remember it feels like a little punch in my side, but nothing. I turn around and there's someone on the ground. I'm still thinking I had been grazed.
And I spent the rest of that night in an emergency room, getting that bullet cut out of my side, thinking, what would make someone do something like that?
The TEDx was made to be a resource.
People who meditate have more gray matter and more volume in their prefrontal cortex, where decisions happen. Their amygdala, where emotions are regulated, is calmer, smaller.
Operation Prefrontal Cortex is an organization I founded with my friend Del, and then in came another friend of mine, Sarah. We bring awareness of what meditation can do. The operation is to bring meditation into schools, the community, the streets, the correctional system, and the police. The big thing is the spreading of this knowledge, because it's so easy to do. When the operation put message to the man who shot me on Instagram, that's when it really reached the people, and people started reaching out. We started getting messages from Janice. Hey, I run this program, we're here in Malton, and I showed them your TED Talk, and eventually getting into, they want me to come speak to them.
We got an email response saying, Director X and his team, Operational Prefrontal Cortex, would love to come in and come to your school. So I showed the kids the email and they were floored. I said, you remember when you said it was impossible? Saying it's possible. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
So the school principal said, nah. We've been abandoned by the bureaucracy. With what we know meditation does for students, what it does for teachers, what it does to the school environment, for meditation not to be part of academic life right now, across the board, is at minimum negligence. I told the mayor of Toronto, I told the entire council, that police work damages the brain of police officers. I presented them the evidence for it. This is brain damage and is making them more violent and aggressive. They ignored it. There's a program called Advanced Peace, which has a meditation component inside of it, and they get amazing results. Their whole thing is they get reformed, guys who have changed their life, but have lived that life. Some of them done their time for manslaughter, murder. They come out, they go into the community, and they talk to the kid that's shooting. We had a petition that has 100,000 signatures saying we want Advanced Peace to come to Toronto. 100,000 people signed this thing, speaking to the city. The city actually says, all right, we'll hire one of them as a consultant, and then never did it. This is life and death.
Meditation helps emotional intelligence. I learned about what that was 4 months ago. I'm 17. But imagine if I had that information at 6 or 10.
At that age, that's when you really need that guidance, because that's when I needed it. I want to be that role model in my community so I can show kids that you don't have to go down that path.
teaching them different strategies, guided meditation, mindful eating, mindful walking, just what they can implement in their life day to day. When you start providing support and resources, the actual character of that student develops. And then when those obstacles start decreasing, you see other things develop, like their academics. Once that novelty kind of wears off, they become open, they feel safe with you and willing to take those risks. You start seeing that they're actually implementing mindfulness and meditation on their own.
The more I do this, the more I realize we have to do it ourselves. Look what this community did, and they did it by themselves. Imagine more people bringing meditation into their sphere of influence. The teacher to their students, the students to their friends, the police officer to their colleagues, the prisoner to their fellow inmates, and when they get out, bringing meditation to the people in the streets shooting the guns. Imagine how that would transform the community. Because with quiet minds, we can have silent streets.
They y'all come to me for saving. Who gon' save me? Only got so much to give, and when I ain't there, they blame me. How you blame me? And now you moving shady. When it was you, I was down and I rose. When it was me, I was always left in the cold. I've been on my own, stayed down, never fold. Any check for the kid when I've been on the road, and it's crazy. You ain't picking up the phone and said you raped me. People showing me they true colors as of lately. I don't rely on nobody, so it don't faze me. But why you moving like you hate me? How I put my trust in and he a renegade. Tell flow, call me up a beat, I got ventilate. A lifestyle so crazy, it's why I meditate.